Welcome back to Walking in Shadow. It's Jason. It's good to see everybody. I want to thank all of you for being so patient, waiting for the next video. I recently had COVID. It was bad, but what was worse was the fatigue afterward. It really just made me so puny, and I had to really work on my endurance to be able to even be out of bed for more than an hour or two at a time. And then I just kept pushing, probably too hard, but that's my nature. I went to the Curiosities Friday night psychic fair the other night, and it was really good. I did some I Ching divinations. I look forward to doing more of them. I'll add them onto the Facebook page if it's something you're interested in checking out. Be doing $22 for, 30 minutes or so, or less, or I don't know. I'm going to have to do something to even have any data on that, but I know I'm going to do them for $22. Today's video is tear yourself down and build yourself up. I do want to say, when I'm saying tear yourself down, I'm not talking about negative self-talk or beating yourself up, judging yourself. I have another video called Comparison and the Judge that you can find in the playlist. I'll try to link it either at the bottom or in the suggested video at the end. And that's the one that is about that. That's not what I'm talking about here. I do not want anybody to tear themselves down in a negative way or a way that hurts you. That's not what I'm going for. And if you've watched the channel at all, you know that is not my intent. What I mean by that is something that's very important. It's unlearning. It's it's easy, especially in the world of social media, to get lots of information that appeals to you, and that's the whole point of social media and the algorithms behind it. What do you like? Repeat it back to you. It's like a little microcosm of the universe, because that's exactly what happens with the universe, is that what you put out there and what you seek comes to you, whether you were looking for it or not. Whether you think you were looking for it or not, you were, because you were looking for it. When I'm saying tear yourself down, I mean unlearning. And that means the things you have learned from school, from news, from your family, from your church or your temple or your coven or whatever. Not forever. I just mean that the only way that you're going to be able to find your true inner voice and truly identify with yourself and truly know who you are and be able to act on the things that are actually you, involve first taking down all the stuff that you've been given. Most of the foundation and house of, say, knowledge that you live in currently, all of those bricks have been given to you by others. This isn't a blanket statement. Everybody is different. If this doesn't apply to you, okay. I feel like it applies to a lot of people, so if it does apply to you, please listen on. Some of those things might be helpful, some of them may be true, but it's just really important, and more important as we go along, that you know what your house of knowledge is built out of. If it's best to even examine the things that you know or believe to be true, and really find out if you really believe them, or if you're just accepting an agreement, like we covered in 4 agreements. If your entire life you've been told or been expected to believe a certain way or be a certain way, I understand there are many external and internal ramifications for bucking that system. I'm not trying to make everybody go be a rebel, but this isn't something that requires some outward manifestation of your angst or your inner turmoil. You don't actually have to even speak. You don't have to write it down. If those things help you, then do them, but it's not necessary. I'm talking about just with yourself, turning off the stuff. Even me, turn this off. I mean, whatever, but to focus on what it is that you really believe. How do you really feel? Without desire, without expectation, without attachment. How do you, on the inside of you, feel? I cannot answer that. I have no clue. I can only speak for myself. I've spent a lot of time working on that. That is probably the most intensive work that I have done, is just finding what parts of myself were necessary at a certain time, be it like my feelings of scarcity or not being good enough, or being in survival mode constantly. Those things came from a long period of time that I was having a very hard time in life, be it through depression or abuse or whatever. It's just, those things aren't necessary forever. I understand survival mode and I understand having to be in it, but it's not necessary forever. Like, you'll get out of the situation and then you'll just continue to live that way because you've been living that way and you don't know any other way. Well, that's what I'm here to tell you about, is you just have to deconstruct that and take it apart. You have to disassemble all the pieces that you put up. And if you're not comfortable being vulnerable around others, or being vulnerable even to yourself, I understand that, but I'm telling you, you are not going to really make any headway in your personal mission until you are able to do that. A lot of teachers or courses or whatever like to, tell you how wonderful and beautiful you are, which is true. That is a true statement. However, you've put on a whole lot of ugly for some reason, be it acceptance or like a social norm, or perhaps it's a projected desire for the love of someone else, or I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But the beautiful thing about tearing yourself down is that usually, I don't know if this is the case, universally. I don't know. I know it's the case with me that I found that the things that gave me joy or the things that I enjoyed or liked were very similar to the things I liked long ago, um, when I was more innocent and less jaded and full of piss and vinegar, I mean, uh, thing about piss and vinegar, you can just piss them on out, you know. You don't have to keep that. It certainly doesn't help anything to just hold the poison in. There's no reason for it. Um, but the build yourself back up part is even better, because when you build yourself back up, you can do it with bricks of your own clay. You can, each the clay itself, you can harvest from good memories, from solid truths that you understand for you and you alone, and you can bake that in the fire of realization and self knowledge, uh, endurance, just sticking with it. And you will find eventually you have a brick of your own that you created out of your own stuff. And you can then put that brick down as the new brick of your foundation that you're going to live. I don't have Instagram or Twitter, and I never will. So I accept the obscurity that comes with that, because I just, I don't need it. I don't need like 1,000 opinions that are through a filter about what somebody's doing or what I'm doing or anything. But that's me. That's not for everybody. I'm not telling anybody to do anything, to get rid of anything. All I'm telling you is, with most of my videos, just about all of them that I can think of, when I'm speaking, I'm my higher self that is the better part of me that does not contain the trash ego that's been created over time, is trying to speak to your higher self and speak to your better parts of yourselves, and just try to, pass it on to you, all the love and community and acknowledgement and all of the things that you crave so much for are already within you. I mean, you don't need to have other people's pat on the back or affirmations. I understand it hurts to not have it. That's been one of my greatest lessons, has been just accepting that I'm not for everybody, and that's okay. I hope that I get to the people that need to hear what I have to say, and I hope that somehow I can change your life or someone else's life, and for the better, because you don't want to wait until you get old to do it. If you're young and you can apply some of this now, you're just going to save yourself a lot of time later, when things get harder, because it just gets harder in this body. We're not going anywhere. We're not going to disappear. The new earth is a earth of consciousness. It's a earth that we can create and build brick by brick, but it requires each one of us to be coming from a place of our own sovereignty and self-worth. You're not going to be able to build the new earth with the old bricks. It's just not going to happen, you know. So, but the new earth's not going to disappear. We're not going to teleport to some field full of people frolicking or whatever, you know. I mean, you're going to be here on earth with the rest of us, you know. And but you know, do it in the way that you want to do it. And time is very important. I mean, I wish it wasn't, and I know that it isn't outside of 3D reality Earth, but guess where we're at? So it is important because our bodies are biological units that have a shelf life. Uh, Even when they don't, whenever that is, I don't know how much that's going to matter. I think at some point the consciousness is, you know, you've learned what you need to learn. It's time to pass on to the next stage. Um, so, since we're all going to be here together, let's try to come from a new angle because the old angles aren't working anymore. I think it's readily apparent to anybody, regardless of your color, creed, national origin, your belief systems, your political affiliations, your sexual identities. The old stuff is not going to work. It's just not. So you need to tear a lot of that down and build something new for yourself. But don't do it for anyone else but you. I understand people have families. I have a family that I love dearly. Or your pets. When I have pets, I love them. I'm not ready for one since the last one died. I'm just going to need some more time because I really bond with animals. But it's just, you know, let's just instead of worrying so much about why other people are doing things, worry a little more about why you're doing a thing. And if you're worried about, just don't compare yourself. Like I said, the comparison to the judge will help you, and I will link it at the end. Um, it's not what I'm talking about. We're all born perfect, even if we're born with biological issues. I was. But you're when you're born and you're here, it's not until the world starts to color your vision that you start to see things in a different light. So you should just do your best, do your absolute best to just take time every day, whenever you can, even if it's just 5 minutes, sometime in the twilight between alarm and do the school or do the kids to school or work or whatever it is you do. Just take that time to spend time with yourself. Pick something about yourself that you know either isn't yours or is not no longer working for you and get rid of it. Make room for something new. I mean, if you think about it, like if the whole world seems so terrible to you, when did it start being that way? It's very rare that it started being that way because of you. So why should you now just continue on autopilot with somebody else's vision? You should just tear all of that down that no longer serves you and discard it in the trash for good. Don't put it to the side, well, maybe later. Just get rid of it. and then start to rebuild yourself in the image that you really want to be. Don't worry about other people. Just be the way you want to be, and the people who are worth it will stick around, or new people who are worth it will show up. However it works. I don't know how it works. But, you know, the old stuff's not working anymore, so it's got to go. Yeah. Who are you going to be from that? I don't know. None of my business. You know, though. So, I think that'll do it. Stay tuned for the next video. It will not be even a week away. Take it easy.